Ladies and gentlemen, the best wrestling podcast around, the Heel Mob.
From Brooklyn to your living room, it's the best podcast to listen to. Morning, even afternoon, here clever blind girl and a Jew talk about wrestling. They do it 24/7, cause they love to speak on it every week. That's why they are best friends, and they're back once again for some wrestling talk. So sit back, relax, it's time for Heel Mobs.
They're not just smart, they're Heel Mobs. They're not just smart, they're Heel Mobs. They're not just smart, they're Heel Mobs.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends, we are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma, the ophthalmologist of optimism. I am the hyperactive heel and your messiah of mischief. She is the sultan of sarcasm, the sorceress of sass, the blonde ballbuster, and everybody's favorite coach. I am Brady. She is Danielle. Together we are the best friends in all the land. And with us as always, he is saltier in the sea. He is the contractor of comedy. He is everybody's favorite curmudgeon king. He is Salty John Sosis. Together we are the Heel Marks. Welcome to another edition, and this is gonna be a good one because, oh man, so many shows to talk about, so many things to talk about, so much has happened in this past week. Guys, how are you feeling about all the wrestling of the past week?
So much wrestling to talk about, so much good wrestling to talk about for a change. I feel like I'm not going to be complaining too much this time around.
No, I have nothing to complain about. It's been pretty
Whoa.
good across the board. I don't know what's going on.
Whoa!
I know.
Whoa!
We've got history in the making, people.
Wow!
And you know, it's funny though, because Danielle, because you mentioned like for a change, like just nonstop good wrestling. We had 3 pay-per-view / PLEs in like this past week and a half span, and all 3 of them really delivered. So yeah, we got spoiled this past week, 100%. So much to talk about, so much to get into. Danielle, you and I were at the first pay-per-view to occur this past week, so we'll get into that first. We were at Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door was a great show. Once again, as Triple H, I don't think he was trying to mention it, but I think he was cognizant of what people were going to take it as. But even he mentioned how, like, you know, we like to do a 5 show. You know, I don't really like it when it's like a 7-hour show. AEW is still doing it. I know that you in particular can sometimes get to that point where you're like, okay, too much wrestling.
Yeah,
quicker than
100%.
others. But really, and we didn't go for the pre-show. We waited until the show started. First match we saw were the Lucha Brothers, and that tag team match.
Well, yeah, because there were 13 matches or 1,000 matches,
and we saw 11 of them.
Yeah, there was a lot of matches.
Right. So if you
There's
missed the show, it still saw like 11 matches, which I think off the top of my head might be more than Money in the Bank and NXT Heatwave combined.
Yeah, probably. That sounds about right.
Yeah,
there was a lot. I will say, even though there was a lot, I feel like this pay-per-view was very well paced. I didn't really feel like there was a lull ever. And when there was that, like, quote unquote pee break match, I feel like that was a purposeful pee break match. Like, everybody got up for the Jericho match. Like, everybody got up to go to the bathroom for that match, or go get food, or go get a drink. And I think that was just a thing, you know? And we all were like, all right,
heat
that's
on
a match.
Jericho. The heat on Jericho is real. Like, and I'll say this, as somebody who's been a longtime Jericho fan throughout his entire career, I do appreciate the commitment he's making to once again reinvent himself, create a new Chris Jericho, a new character. He's committing to the waves, to just being so hammy and over the top. So I do applaud the effort he's putting into it and the commitment. With that said, nothing he's doing is getting them to boo. They're booing because they're fucking sick of him. At least the live crowd that we were there for. That's the way I saw it.
Yeah,
like,
nobody cared about that match.
Yeah, no, nobody cared at all.
Nobody cared about that match. Nobody cared what was going
Samoa
on.
Joe kind of saved it, or was wait? Am I confused?
No,
yeah, I'm
it was
totally
Samoa Joe.
Oh no, okay, yeah. yeah, Samoa Joe kind of saved only because he's just a magician when it comes to connecting with an audience,
Right.
reading them. He reads the room better than most that do it. So Samoa Joe, was able to do what he could, but good God, yeah, you're right. Like this was the amount of people that just completely left their seats. And like one of our friends that we were with was even like talking about how that one match had the longest fucking food lines.
Yeah.
Like every single food stand had the hugest lines during that match. The entire show that didn't happen. The
Yeah.
entire show, it was the breaks. It was while the video packages, everyone rushed to
100%.
rush to get their stuff and rush back because they didn't want to miss the match. That was the one match nobody was there for.
Which kind of made me sad since I love Hook and I love Jeff Cobb and I love Samoa Joe. So it really made me sad. Even Big Bill, like I was okay with everybody else in that match. It's just, yeah, Jericho, nobody cared about this. People are just over
They
him and they just
like
want
they
him to go
resent
away.
him now. They resent that he's still there. They
Yeah.
resent he's taking TV time. They resent that at the very least he is perceived to have sway in the company. They resent everything about him. I wonder if they would have turned on him this much had he not changed Judas. Because it does seem like even when they hated him, that song was just like they couldn't listen
I
to it
hate that
without
song.
singing it. I know you hate that song, Danielle. I know you.
Like, ugh,
Uh, Let
hippie
me
song.
ask John, as the one member of this trio that was not on the show, was watching it from the comfort of your own home, what match stood out to you as not even your match of the night, but biggest surprise for you? Because you said you liked this match. So which match were you not even expecting to like as much? And you're like, oh shit.
Um, I
Watch
mean,
him say Chris Jericho.
no, the if I'm gonna be honest, the match that I thought was gonna be overhyped was the Swerve match, and I actually liked
Mm.
it and I thought I would. I thought it was gonna be the typical like shit that I hate about AEW, and it was a great match.
Spot Fest.
Yeah,
But it
that's
wasn't. I think it really solidified Swerve as a champion. It made Will Ospreay look good. Everybody looked good in this. I think they complement each other very well, and I think they both have really good chemistry together.
Yeah, no, this was a banger of a main event, and we talked already about how this card overall was a great show. We'll obviously get into other matches that happened, but with this main event, you could tell these guys took the position very seriously.
Right.
They knew there was a lot of pressure. They were following this match, this superstar, these dream matches, this title change. So they knew that they had big shoes to fill in this spot, and oh my God, did they deliver! And once again, just from being there, they had us all in the palm of our hands. We were standing, we were jumping, we were holding each other. Like this match really had us at times not knowing what was going to happen.
Right. I was very excited about this match. I thought it absolutely delivered. I as a whole, there's besides, like I said, the Jericho match, if I had to pinpoint another match that I was extremely disappointed in, it was definitely the John Moxley and Naito match. I was looking forward to that match, and that match, that's another match. That's a match that fell flat for me. It wasn't necessarily like Jericho. I was like, I don't care about this match. This match I cared about, and it didn't deliver on my part, and I was very upset. You know?
Yeah, I would say it was a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
I in terms of, but just to go back to because I feel like we kind of just skimmed past it. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. I
Sure.
really do just wanna go back to this because like once again, like I really bought into Will Ospreay as Swerve's toughest test yet. And I'm not even talking about title defenses. Swerve's entire AEW run and all the people he's battled and how he's climbed the ladder to get to this point. This did stand out to me as the toughest battle, and I think it was portrayed that way intentionally, where they wanted to make because Will Ospreay has kind of been one of those guys that doesn't need a title to be portrayed as the best in the world. There's
Right.
certain wrestlers that can kind of like, for example, there's been times, and we've kind of shit on it here, but when the Young Bucks will randomly have a match with like FTR, and neither of them will be tag champion, but they will be saying this match is to determine the best tag team in the world. And you kind of can't help but roll your eyes because you're like, where's the gold? That kind of happens with Will Ospreay, and I kind of think it's justifiable. Where like, and Kenny Omega's another one where he'll like a win over him kind of classifies as a win over one of, if not the best in the world. That's kind of what I took from this with Swerve and Ospreay. So I think it's a huge knock for his title reign.
Oh yeah, 100%. I also think that having him go against Will Ospreay, since we said a lot of people were kind of nervous. They're like, oh my God, are they just going to give Will Ospreay his title immediately? Like, is he going to become AEW champ immediately? And we all know, like you just said, he doesn't need a title necessarily to show that he's one of the best in the world. And for him being the best in the world, he is very convincing as a person that can take the title away from Swerve. So when you're watching it, you're like, oh yeah, Swerve is definitely winning. But there were moments where you definitely had moments where you're like, shit, is Will going to win? I will say, I think the ending went on a little too long. Like there was too much false finish, just a hair too long where I was like, okay, guys, let's bring it home. Like, all right, I get it. You kicked out. Ooh, you kicked out again. Like, let's bring it home. Like, it's time. But other than that, that match was so much fun to watch. I was engaged the whole time. I had fun interacting with everybody around us. Like, it was just such a great match.
And we've got
that's something that like you've come to expect with AEW. There's going to be 18 kickouts, but you know that means you're getting close to the end.
Right. But I feel like this one was a little over. I was like, okay.
The big takeaway after this carried over to Dynamite, where Will Ospreay leaves the Don Callis family due to Don Callis' involvement in the match. Kyle Fletcher, who has always been a Will Ospreay loyalist back to their time before AEW, showing kind of mixed emotions as he's still with Don Callis. And also, Don Callis did make a point to point out in this segment that I don't often let people out of my family like this, but because of the respect I have for you, I'll let you go. Which kind of lets us know that Kyle Fletcher, if he does choose to leave the Don Callis family to join Will, it's not going to be so easy for him, and possibly Will. So this, I kind of have my eyes on what happens with Kyle and Will. If Kyle Fletcher has to turn on Will, I will cry. I will shed at least one tear. Because I love their friendship. One whole tear filled with salt, because I will be so salty if that happens. I love their friendship. I also loved the match that saw Mercedes Moné become a double champion. Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vacker. John, were you familiar with Vacker before this match?
No, I just saw her come out at the last pay-per-view that people were just kind of like, oh, it's going to be, I didn't know who that was.
I wasn't familiar with her either.
Right. Danielle and I were talking about that actually with Mario of Lucha Outsiders. We saw him at the show, and we were all kind of talking about it. And so to get into this match, Stephanie really blew a lot of us away. Like, I'm just not talking about us. Like, that arena, you could feel them, like, new fans being won over.
New fans were born. I definitely became a fan. Like with Mercedes Moné, every time I watch her, I'm like, man, she's got it. Like, she's so talented in the ring. And Stephanie Vacker, like, they really brought the best out of each other. And I was blown away with how talented this woman is. Like, it was really amazing to watch her.
And I don't often, not even bring it up. I don't even think I often think about it, because a lot of times it does happen more and more in indie wrestling and AEW and everything else, especially with these forbidden doors or portals or whatever they're called. But this is the first time these two work together, and I thought it was just instant chemistry. For two people that, and who knows how many conversations they've had, considering Stephanie, to my knowledge, doesn't speak English. So, you know what I mean? Like, this is possibly. No, she's Chilean, and I've never seen her speak English. I don't believe she does. But yeah, I think the big talking point about this, and we were kind of dumbfounded as it happened, was the fans completely turning on Mercedes Moné.
Oh yeah,
which has carried over to Dynamite. The fans turned her heel. Here's the weirdest thing about that from people from the live point of view there. I still don't know why it happened. Like, Because when Mercedes came out, the fans were all about her. Big pop, big reaction to the entrance. They were chanting CEO a lot in that first half of the match. And then out of nowhere, and then all anyone was telling me was that, oh, it's because she's from Boston. It shows she's from Boston. I'm like, she was from Boston the second she got here. You know, waited 15 minutes to
They probably
remember
forgot. They probably forgot
like,
and just
but
wanted to
that,
root because the Celtics won and they were like, fuck the
right.
Celtics. The
No,
Knicks should have won.
and that's what everyone and that's what essentially happened. And there were a lot of fuck the Celtics chants. There were
Yeah.
fuck the Red Sox chants. All of a sudden, and it really did feel like they were just everyone collectively remembered. Oh, we hate Boston. They win too much. Fuck you, Mercedes, and turned on her. And she, of course, went with it. And I think she might have even just have not even for this match, but just always be ready for it. She knows how to handle that kind of shit. But I still don't really know why it happened. But here
I'm
we
okay
go.
with it.
We are in a heel Mercedes world.
It's almost like they foreshadowed Britt Baker coming back and they were like, well, we have to make Mercedes heel because we have to love Britt Baker now that she's back. It was like they subconsciously knew it.
It's not even like she was wearing like Celtics themed gear.
Right. It was
you
very
kind of
weird.
would expect that from her, but like no, like
I
they
didn't
just
hate
all
this
like,
crowd. I will say that. I thought the crowd
No.
was fun. They were
it
very
was a fun
involved.
crowd. It was a fun crowd. And
Yeah.
and listen, that heel turn was a fun, like the crowd turning on her rather was a fun thing to experience and to witness as a fan because A, she did go with it. B, I always do like a match more when there is a clear heel and a face dynamic.
Mhm.
It lets the crowd get behind somebody and hate on another. So when the fans decided they hated Mercedes, they decided, oh wait, we love Backer. And every move she hit that the crowd popped to hit even more. And then when Mercedes Moné is getting showered in boos, holding her both titles up, it helped the pop that Britt Baker got. Like it helped it just that much. So yeah, this was a fun moment.
Maybe Stephanie won them over, and then they were like, "Fuck Mercedes."
And that might have been it. That might have been it. Maybe they were more CEO because they just didn't really. Stephanie was still in the unknown category.
Right.
You know,
it was pretty wild to watch. Yeah.
It was fun, yeah, but it was 100%. You said it best. It was wild to experience.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I remember at some points just as they're just fucking hating and booing and fucking, I'm like turning around like, wow, how did this happen and why?
Right,
So
we're in Long
crazy.
Island.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Strong Island. Woo, woo.
Definitely.
Here's the one thing I want to talk about before we move on to another match. Because I think, and I wanted to talk about the match first because it was a great one. I wanted to give it its time. However, this to me is a big AEW fumble. This is ridiculous, and this is what separates them from WWE because WWE would never let this shit happen. They put Stephanie Baker on. The three of us are all united in that we did not really know her, but we are new fans. As I said, we talked with other podcasts, other fans, they felt the same way. AEW gave her a huge fucking platform. And I gotta believe they did not treat her like the star they should have treated her like in terms of just everything. I'm not even just talking about booking, just her experiences working with them. Because you look at Jordynne Grace and the way she speaks so highly of how good everyone's been and Shawn Michaels and the treatment she's had, first class flights, this, that. They're showing out for her in like the less than 5 appearances she's had. When her contract does expire, there's no doubt she's going to go to WWE because they treated her like a star.
Right.
AEW had their chance with Stephanie Baker. And the fact that a week and a half later, Shawn Michaels just made it official and tweeted that Stephanie Baker, I'll see you in Orlando soon. Congratulations on the signing with WWE. Like AEW, you are.
Yeah,
like,
what are you doing?
Foolish. Yeah, because you put her on, and there's no one will convince me that WWE was on her. She was on their radar before this.
I mean, but then you look at like she dropped the titles. So did she drop the titles because she was already promised the WWE?
Well, no, she just today dropped the other championship she had, her CMLL, her NJPW championships. Like she just got.
Oh yeah, because she has lots of belts. I forgot that she has multiple belts.
As they announced that she's leaving them, she just relinquished her belt. So she dropped the strong belt because they wanted to put it on Mercedes.
Yeah, what a
But
fumble.
she was booked,
Jesus.
I don't have the name off the top of my head, but CMLL has a big show coming up that she was actually booked for and had to say, I'm sorry, but I can't perform. They had to remove her from the card. So this is very immediate. WWE clearly pounced on her, got her to sign, and was like, okay, we need you tomorrow.
So what you're telling me is AEW is the Mark Sanchez of this whole thing. They butt fumbled hard.
Just big time butt fumble. Like I said, like the idea of put it like you made her look like such a star.
What a star she looked like. Jesus.
Doing that without being able to secure her, like whatever, like I hopefully we hear more stories about it, but I have to assume right now that whatever they did was just not enough, and however they handled the situation was wrong, because this should never have been a question. This should have been a layup for you. She was there with you. Like I don't understand how they let that happen.
Yeah, insane.
And now she's going to come to WWE as a big star. She's going to hop into NXT already made off of one show.
Off of one
and
show.
They're going to hype off her CMLL appearances and NJPW accolades and all that kind of stuff. They're going to talk about how she's traveled the world and this and that. But AEW just gave her the biggest United States platform she's ever had, and WWE's got her now.
Crazy. It's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Moving on, crazy in her own ways, timeless Toni Storm defeating Mina Shirakawa, and then everybody was the winners because we, of course, got a triple celebration kiss to end Pride Month the way you do it. That's how you do it.
I can't believe you didn't set me up for that and then they kiss. I can't believe you.
Why? I
can't believe you.
But that wasn't your big and then they kiss. Your big and then they kiss moment was during the fucking ladder match.
Oh,
I forget who was up there. It was Jungle Boy, it was fucking Jeff Hardy, and somebody. I forget who. Maybe Mark Briscoe, actually. But whoever it was, Danielle screams, give him a kiss! And I don't know why. Maybe it was Pride Month, but everyone in the section who did not know Danielle or how long she has been screaming randomly for fucking wrestlers to kiss each other. But everyone started chanting, give him a kiss! Kiss him! Like I've never seen the kiss.
You're welcome,
so
everyone.
So
literally, when the three-way kiss happened, I was like, and then they kiss. I was so excited. Yeah. I just want everyone to kiss all the time. All the time. Everybody
got
it.
And you got it.
I got it. Yeah, I was very excited. That match was really fun. I thought it was a really good match. Her coming out the Empire State Building, not Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty was like gold. I thought it was great.
Epic entrance.
She's so fantastic.
Yeah, epic entrance. We have so much to talk about. So if there's any other matches of this guys you want to get into, let's do it. But I do want to talk about not as much MJF's match that he had, which was a good one. It was a fun one. But let's talk about what happened on Dynamite, because heel MJF is back. Woo! MJF is a scumbag, was a scumbag, will always be a scumbag. He just may no longer be our scumbag. Aww. But MJF is back to being the man everyone loves to hate. And Daniel Garcia is not happy about it.
Man, people love Daniel Garcia. I don't get it, but people love him.
Yeah, I loved his match with Will Ospreay, and it did remind me why everyone loved him, because the truth is it has always been his ability first, and he's kind of always surprised everyone with how good he's done in his character work and the sports entertainment aspects. However, he needs to stop. But the dancing's fine. It's over, so keep doing it. But the whole dancing as a move where he like pelvic thrust into Will Ospreay's face, that was cringe. Please, let's take that out of the repertoire. Do not include it in a video game. Let's get rid of that one. Let's shelve
I'm not a big fan of the dance. I think it's dumb.
And like if he was ever gonna do that, you do it on like a collision match with Serpentico. You do not do it in a fucking big time match with one of the best in the world. Like Will Ospreay has been established like that. Like that's how he's been established in AEW. You can't tell me you're taking that match seriously if you're fucking hitting him in the face with your dick.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah. I'm definitely, yeah.
but I do love the fact that MJF was going so hard for Daniel Garcia, wanted to help him win, try to get him to cheat with the diamond ring because they've got a match coming up. And if Daniel Garcia was to win this title, it would have been MJF would have had a shot at the title. So MJF is fucking pissed. You know what, bro? I was trying to play you like the fool you are, and you wouldn't let me. Boom! I gotta kick you in the dick now. And then MJF goes in and in and in. It looks like MJF versus Will Ospreay is on the menu soon, and I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it. Will Ospreay is probably going to be the person to take Swerve's championship. Not now, but he's going to be the one to do it, which kind of makes me sad a little. Yeah.
I think MJF is going to be the one to take Swerve's championship.
You think he's gonna? Yeah.
Not yet. But yeah, I do think that will happen. I think they're gonna commit to Swerve. So he'll get past a lot of other challengers. But when it's time for Daddy to come for what did he call it, the Triple B? Yeah, I definitely think MJF will be the one to take it from him. But you know what? With Swerve as the top face, with Will Ospreay as a big time face, with Daniel Garcia getting over once again on his own, it makes perfect sense to turn MJF heel again. They've got the space for it.
I love heel MJF. I like him much better than face MJF.
He had to be face because absence made the heart grow fonder when he left.
I guess.
Also, he told his boss to fuck off on TV, called him a mark, so everyone decided, oh my God, we fucking love this asshole.
Also, he has such a punchable face. Oh my God.
And he knows it too.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah. I have a punchable face, and you know it.
That should have been. How has nobody made that a meme?
How has nobody made that a meme? Because he definitely has him and friggin' John Moxley have the punchable faces, the most punchable faces in AEW.
Christian has a very punchable face.
No, he has a kissable face.
The Miz has a punchable face.
Oh yes, 100%. Yeah.
Big time punchable face.
Seth Rollins too. Even though I still want to kiss it, I want to kiss it and hit it.
It's funny. I know you love Austin Theory, but I think Austin Theory kind of has a punchable face too.
I would say kickable face.
John, who you got for most punchable face?
Most punchable face?
Yeah, they get on your screen and you're like, oh man, I wish I was a wrestler.
A wrestler.
I mean, it's still what's his fucking name? The pot dude.
Matt Riddle.
Riddle.
Oh yeah, Matt Riddle definitely has a punchable face.
Big time.
I haven't seen him in months, and I still can't fucking stand him.
Man, we should do our fantasy draft and do 5 of the most punchable faces.
Okay, that's a good one. We gotta do that. Yeah, hell yeah. Matt Riddle, I swear, I don't judge at all, but I swear, Matt Riddle was so like pro weed that like learning that while he was, smoking and doing everything, he was also like a secret cokehead while getting pushed in WWE. That makes me mad, bro. Like pro weed, we're fucking supposed to be like,
RVD. You're supposed to be like RVD.
Exactly, bro.
RVD, who's so lovable.
Yeah, just bathes in his weed with his girlfriends, and just leave him alone.
Girlfriend.
Exactly. Just let him live his life.
Oh, man, I love RVD.
We talked about Stephanie Vacker. She's going to WWE. Rumors are a tag team known as the Motor City Machine Guns might be headed there. Streets are also saying AEW still expects them to go there. So the word on the streets is that Motor City Machine Guns is signing with a major company soon. Seems like it'll either be WWE or AEW. They could always go with TNA and then show up in NXT. You never know. But it does seem like.
You want to hear something really weird about this? I feel like the Motor City Machine Guns are too old for this. Like, why are you signing to a new company? Aren't you old? Like, I like them, but I just feel like they're old to be doing this.
I mean, what do you mean? Like,
I don't know. I think they're old. Like, I loved them when we 15 years ago. Like, not saying they're not still.
You're absolutely right. These are two veterans. They're both older. However, they are both either I think the same age, maybe a year older
I'm
than our
gonna look them
current
up.
world heavyweight champion.
Let me look them up.
No, I just looked them up. Chris Sabin is 42 and Alex Shelley is 41.
I didn't mean old in age. I just meant old in the business. Like, you're
Okay.
old.
But that's just it. These guys are vets of the business, one of the best tag teams to not really be called the best tag team, and it's why, because they've never really been on a bigger show than TNA.
Right.
Well,
This
I feel like this is just going to be a situation with the OC where they're just going to come in and lose a shit ton of matches to help some of the newer guys become better tag
That
team
might be
wrestlers.
it too. Yeah. That might be
And
it
you
too.
know what? And maybe that is why they choose AEW. If they choose AEW over WWE, that would probably be it. If they're looking at how they're going to be used, how they're going to be portrayed. Because AEW will portray them as legends and put them in positions to have, like, even if they don't just win, they'll be putting on banger after banger with the tag team division they have over there. Whereas you're right, they could put them in NXT, and next thing you know, they're just kind of making all the other tag teams look better because, oh look, Chase U is beating Motor City Machine Guns.
I wouldn't say bangers.
I think they'll have bangers. Motor City Machine Guns still go.
Yeah, they go slow.
Bro, you suck.
Who
Who you beat, bro? Who you ever beat, bro?
did I ever beat? Nobody. I've never been in a fight ever.
That's not true.
That's 100% true. I've never been in a fist fight a day in my life.
Really?
Nope. Never.
I feel like you always
Instigate fights? Yeah, instigate 100%. I never have fights.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yep, never
Fair
been in a
enough.
fist fight. No, never a fist fight.
Let's get into a pay-per-view that is usually like one of my favorites every year until it actually happens. And then I remember how much they pissed me off. But Money in the Bank came and went. It was a good Money in the Bank. Good show. What did you guys think of the way the show came and went?
John?
I thought, I will say, and a lot of people are doing this on Twitter, they're showing how much wrestling is actually happening during these pay-per-views versus how much other stuff. And considering there are only 5 matches and the pay-per-views are still 3 hours long and there is not a lot of wrestling going on, it's a little bit annoying that they only have 5 matches. I thought overall it was okay. I think it was very predictable. I think we kind of knew what was going to happen with Drew McIntyre. We knew that he was not leaving with the title. I'm kind of okay with the fact that there's no men's Money in the Bank. I think when you've seen Damian Priest have it for a year, we need a break from it. We don't need to see somebody else carry it for a year.
Okay.
So I don't mind that as much. I feel like now the women can play around with it for a while. We don't need another guy to have it for a year. It would have been nice to see LA Knight with it, or even Jey Uso. Somebody could have used it.
Gable.
Somebody who was less likely to organically win it. Even what's his name?
Andrade?
Chad
Gable.
Chad Gable, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like somebody who maybe could have used it for a legitimate title opportunity that maybe they wouldn't have been able to get otherwise. But other than that, I'm fine with how that ended. The women's match was way better than the men's match.
Oh my God, what a great match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the pay-per-view was
They-
pretty.
they-
The pay-per-view was solid.
they killed it.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I just think for such few matches, for there to also be such little wrestling, it's getting annoying.
I didn't feel that way. I do agree. I agree with you and Brady in the sense that I know Brady hates when they waste the cash in.
do.
I know he's a big fan of he's very against that, excuse me, not a big fan. And I understand what you're saying with Drew. I also agree in the sense that, like, even now that Drew cashed in, I like that the women's are gonna get time to shine, because sometimes I think people forget about the women having a briefcase, and it's kind of very foreshadowed by the guys. And like you said, Damian had it for such a long time. Now we don't even have to worry about that. And now we have a women's Money in the Bank briefcase that Tiffy can walk around with. So I'm okay with that. I thought both Money in the Bank matches were great. I thought everybody brought it. I thought there were just everybody had a moment to shine. There were highlights for everybody. I miss my Shelton Benjamin in my Money in the Bank ladder matches because he was my Mr. Money in the Bank. Every time there was a Money in the Bank match, he killed it. He was always that person, kind of like when you look for Kofi with Royal Rumble. Shelton Benjamin was my guy for Money in the Bank. So I always have a soft spot for that, especially like there's a lot of him going on in our feed lately. And I was just like, oh, Shelton.
I always remember, I think it was in an WWE's ECW. I think it was when Christian was world champion, and Christian and Shelton Benjamin, they've got a segment, and Christian says, like, listen, let's face it. And this is like they've been, they were both kind of in all the Money in the Banks at this point. And he's like, when WWE shows highlight reels, clips from their best ladder matches, me and you are 50% of the fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like that line always lives rent free in my head because it's so true. Shelton Benjamin really is the human highlight reel.
He brings it, man.
It's ridiculous that nobody ever really, like, no wrestling company ever really treated him like the talent he was. I will say though, like, just as you said, like, he was always in the Money Back Entrance, never won, but he was always the standout, always the highlight reel. I think we're seeing a lot of that this year. We got Andrade and Carmelo in particular. Really, both of them showed up, showed out, proved why they deserve to be in these spots. Why, if they did get the briefcase, it wouldn't have been a bad decision. I do hate a briefcase being wasted, especially since I didn't think they needed to burn it the way they did. I don't. Drew and CM Punk didn't need that. And if anything, CM Punk could have just cost Drew from winning the briefcase, as opposed to traveling to the show to fucking Canada, watching Drew win, and then waiting for Drew to cash in so he could screw him over. I would have liked.
It would have been the same. I feel like waiting for Drew to get that close to the title is what CM Punk wanted. Like, I guess to the point of like CM Punk stopping him. CM Punk's point is, as long as he's there, Drew will never get a title win. So CM Punk was there to make sure Drew doesn't win the title. CM Punk doesn't care.
CM Punk let him win the title at WrestleMania, and then he beat him up and set him up for Damian.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of it. And after that, it's like, as he made the statement, as long as he's there, he's not going to let him win the title again.
Right.
That's it. And he let him win Money in the Bank, and that's, as he got closer to the title, he interfered. I think it would have been difficult to have him interfere in the Money in the Bank match. The reason I think that didn't happen is because I'm not completely sure that CM Punk is clear to wrestle, which is why I think Drew McIntyre was suspended. I think this injury is still going on longer than.
Oh yeah, Seth even said in their segment on Raw, he's like, I know you're not cleared yet, but when you are, I'm gonna come knocking, because Seth's obviously pissed about how everything ended up.
Right.
I will say this with the whole CM Punk and Seth segment, and also just the way CM Punk and Drew is kind of going. I don't see it happening, tomorrow or anything, but I hope that throughout this feud we get a double turn, because for me, CM Punk is very much the heel in this. Like, and I also just really want a heel CM Punk, and like, especially with like that segment we got a few weeks back with Drew and Sheamus, like, other than Drew, like, not giving a shit and being ready to take Adam Pearce's face off, like, Drew stopped being the heel a while ago to me. Now CM Punk is just fucking won't leave this poor guy alone. Like, like, he has your friendship bracelet, bro. It's not that serious. Like, come on now. And then CM Punk saying that to Seth, like, yeah, I know I screwed you out of the championship, but he had my wife's name and my dog's name on his wrist, man. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah, he stole his friendship bracelet. The nerve.
What did you guys think of that segment with CM Punk and Seth? Because I was like kind of scratching my head. I didn't really know if CM Punk was riffing. I didn't know if CM Punk was trying to sell certain emotions, and it was just annoying me. CM Punk with the worst apology in the history of the world. I'm trying to apologize. Would you pay attention? Like, and then saying like, I'm sorry if anything I did affected your title, but you know what? Because it's you, I can't really be sorry, can I? Like, this is again what I say when I mean,
This is a
I'm sorry,
narcissist. He was gaslighting him.
yeah, like this is what I mean when I say like CM Punk is the heel in all this.
Mm-hmm.
Like has been since he walked in, and somebody's gotta make this right. So I don't know if Seth steps in and that's where we get the turn. I don't know if once again maybe there's a double turn. Drew turns face and CM Punk goes real full heel, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I want CM Punk to go heel. He should be heel.
Like
He's a heel in my mind.
he's just not a baby face. Like even if the fans like him, that's fine. But nothing he did on Monday night was baby face. Like Seth had a legit gripe, and granted, before Damian Priest just took away their stipulation and said, "Listen, by the way, when I'm done with Gunther, you can have a shot again, like no problem."
I
Uh,
do.
but until but
I
until then, Seth thought CM Punk screwed him out of that. Literally, he can't fight for the title anymore. CM Punk, you can't say you're sorry. Like, admit it. You jerk.
I also just don't like this whole CM Punk and Drew thing at the expense of Damian Priest, because I feel like I said, I was like, oh, I'm hoping this match with him and Seth will like showcase that he is good at being a champ and he doesn't need help and he doesn't need this, even though, and all this stuff. And then we're just focusing on CM Punk and Drew McIntyre instead of Damian Priest.
Yeah, I'm worried about Damian Priest, especially, and it's not even as much about that and the fact that they have made a point to have interference kind of cause his title defenses. And of course, the cracks are starting to form, at least a little bit in Judgment Day and his relationship with Ben. But also, I'm paying attention to the way they're utilizing or not really utilizing Gunther. Like Gunther has
Right.
almost reached Roman Reigns status. He doesn't have to wrestle on Mondays anymore. He walks around. He doesn't have to put his crown on. He walks around. They'll give him vignettes and packages when they want, or he'll come and just and speak about how he is the ring. And that's all he has to do. It's not as much he's talking about what it's like to become the champion. No, this whole thing is about if Damian Priest can get past Gunther. Gunther's already been elevated to this point with his IC championship reign, with his King of the Ring win, and once again, the way that he's got this aura about him where he's not like everyone else. He's already been put on a pedestal. You know what I mean?
Is
Like he doesn't have to show up.
Is Gunther undefeated? Like, is he like Undertaker? Like, is he completely? He's never lost in WWE
No,
besides Sammy, obviously.
well, Sammy beat him, and Chad Gable technically beat him during that build. It wasn't a pinfall loss, but he got the count out win. Remember
Got
they?
it. Okay. Yeah. I couldn't
Something
remember.
like that.
I couldn't remember.
It wasn't even the count out win. He had a last 3 minutes,
Oh,
and he
because
lasted 3 minutes, and that was what they counted as a
got
win.
it. Because in my brain, I'm like, oh man, Gunther should just come out and be like, I challenge Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest for titles, and whoever I pin, I become the champ of whoever I get. I would love to see Gunther do that because he would destroy fucking both of them.
Right.
And I'd be okay with it.
You know what's really interesting going into SummerSlam, as you do mention that, Danielle, the fact that Sami Zayn is the only person to pin Gunther in God knows how long. It does appear after the events of Raw, Braun Breaker is still on a collision course with Sami Zayn. It looks like he's still come up for the title. So maybe we get, if not a straight-on rematch, Braun Breaker probably involved in a match for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. Same
Right.
pay-per-view, Gunther can potentially become world champion. If Gunther wins the title, Sami Zayn, even though he could lose the title to Braun at SummerSlam, could still stroll on over to number one contender status for the world championship because, as you pointed out, he's the only person to have beaten the potential world champion at that time. So
Right.
I like that. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but those recipes combined together for SummerSlam does make both matches very interesting.
I was a little surprised that Sammy won and Braun Breaker didn't. I will say that.
I
That's
wasn't.
I know you had him. I know.
But
But
also just in Canada, I really didn't think like going into SummerSlam, I'm a lot more worried about Sammy's title reign. And at SummerSlam, let's say Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn have a rematch, I will be surprised, at least now. I'll be surprised if Sammy retains. But going into this one, I thought it was a little too soon. And honestly, I thought it was too soon for this match because I do think it's questionable to have Braun Breaker lose clean
Yeah, I thought this was too
like
soon.
that.
You're right.
They
That's why I was like, Braun has to be winning, because why would you have Braun lose so quickly?
Yeah. And they still are able to, the events of Monday with Ilya, they're still able to portray him as this unstoppable freak that Adam Pearce can barely control. But like, we just saw Sammy beat him, and I get it. They're kind of making Sammy the fucking Giant Slayer, but I don't know. I don't. I don't know if I would have appreciated a little. At the very least, Sammy should have hit like maybe 3 finishers or something. Like, there should have been an effort to tell a story that Braun Breaker will not stay down. What is it going to take from Sammy to do it? It kind of just seemed like another title defense for Sammy. Braun Breaker didn't come across that special until the next day when he speared him again.
Right. Well, this is what I think I was talking about, like, probably 5-6 episodes ago, where Sammy's been stuck in that middle there as things shift, as people are starting their stories where there are maybe no titles involved. So like Seth Rollins and CM Punk might not be for a title. McIntyre and Punk aren't for a title. If Gunther gets the title, even if he doesn't get a title, and Damian keeps the title, they need new challengers, and they need believable challengers for both of them. That's where you move Sami Zayn up, and he needs to be believable. So I feel like they're prepping Sami Zayn while also they need to make it believable that what's his name can be beat. Otherwise, you're just going to have him run through
Breaker?
that card. What?
Breaker?
Yeah, Braun Breaker. It's just going to be ridiculous to have him running through that mid card and become Intercontinental Champion in 3 minutes and be undefeatable. So, like, you don't want to do the Goldberg thing. So I think it's good that you got a loss out of the way. Great. There's no undefeated streak you have to worry about. And now you're just kind of in the world of, like, what are you going to do? Let's boost up Sammy. I think we got an idea of what Sammy's new character is, which is like, what do I got to do for people to start thinking I'm a threat? He just beat Braun Breaker. Let's see maybe he goes against Braun Strowman next. Like, let's see what they do to try and build up Sammy, then make him a competitor for the World Heavyweight title. Like, let's move him up the scale and put him in headliner position. Do I see him like that? No, but I think that's what they're trying to do.
I can see that. It makes the most sense.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. Yeah.
Also makes sense that I'm sorry.
No, I think that's kind of what as they move people from NXT up, they have to move those mid-carders or else there's nothing for them. Like, that's the problem with WWE. I love what they're doing with NXT, but how many people are leaving? Like, John Cena is first retiring. Rey Mysterio in the Hall of Fame, the guy's still fucking wrestling. So more people being brought up than
Ray
let go and leaving.
I think Ray said he's only got like 1 or 2 more years. But I think he said, like, I forget how many years are on his contract, but I think Ray's kind of winding down also. So,
but if Ray came on TV tomorrow and said I'm leaving, nobody would care. Like, it's fine. It's okay. Like, he could have left after the Hall of Fame and we would have been okay. He's not John Cena. He's not going to get the same thing as Randy Orton. He's had a great career, but I think the Hall of Fame should have been the end for him. But my point is, there are a lot more people coming up from NXT than there are leaving Raw and SmackDown. So they have to figure out what they're doing, or else you're just going to have 100 people in the mid card and 100 people on the headlining main event.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's how people like a Baron Corbin, who put in all this effort in NXT to revitalize themselves, finally get themselves over as a babyface, get themselves called up to a point where they can get pushed and utilized. And they're not doing anything with them because, as you said, because they're not mid carders getting moved up to main event status to leave a mid card spot available for returning Corbin. Let's move on to the Bloodline and that tag team match. As I did predict, Solo Sikoa gets the pinfall over Cody Rhodes, and I do believe that's going to take us to SummerSlam, where Solo will challenge for the WWE Championship. Very interesting.
That theme is fire. His entrance song is fire. I got pumped when Solo came out. I was like,
I'm taking
this
it
song is.
all.
I was like, this song is fire.
Yeah, no, it's been fire. I love that song.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, these guys getting the big win as they needed as you continue to establish this new bloodline. I was a bit surprised about the video package that aired. I think it was on SmackDown before this show, but then they also aired it again in preparation for this match, where Solo is. It was kind of always actions, and the way he would talk and the way he would say acknowledge me, the way he would call himself the head of the table, the way he told Paul Roman's not coming back. But this is the first time after this is the follow up to him attacking Paul and taking out the wise man. He then flat out says he's calling Roman out basically. He's saying Roman wasn't man enough to hold on to these beads. He wasn't man enough to hold on to the championship. He wasn't man enough to hold on to the bloodline. Roman wasn't strong enough. And if Roman wants this back, he can come take it. So this is the first time, like, all his actions have kind of been speaking louder than words, but his words were pretty fucking loud.
Yeah. His promos are still to me, to be honest. I don't find him very believable. If I'm really pinpointing stuff about Solo, but it's fine. I like the progression of the bloodline story. Yeah, so I'm assuming, yeah, like you said, like I think Solo's eventually it's gonna be Roman Reigns versus Solo at some point in time. I like
the crazy thing to me is before Roman lost to Cody, Solo was losing every fucking match.
Right.
So like that's why this isn't believable. It's not believable because Solo was the punching bag.
Wait, when was Solo losing? I don't remember Solo losing too many.
Solo was losing everything to Kevin Owens. He was losing every house show to LA Knight.
House shows don't count.
No, but he was losing televised shows to LA Knight also. He was losing televised shows to Cody Rhodes. He was losing every time there was an opportunity for the bloodline to lose, it was Solo taking the pins. It was either Solo or Jimmy. So like for him to come out and be the guy that is talking about losing, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Speaking of LA Knight,
on WWE, hold on. On a WWE main roster, Solo Sikoa has lost 61% of his matches. So
that's a lot.
That's insane.
It's 83 losses compared to his 50 wins, and he's had 3 draws.
That's insane.
That's on the main roster, not including NXT.
I forgot he was on NXT.
he was the street champion.
Yeah, I know.
So for him to sit there and be talking about all that shit, I'm like, this is not believable. You put on a suit and you run in your mouth, but I remember every single time he lost.
But I kind of think that's supposed to be the point. It's kind of like when the weakest Heather from Heather's became the new Heather, and you were like, wait, why is this one? Because she's the one that stepped up and is running her mouth. So I know it's not believable for him to be the head of the bloodline, but he's the one that is nope, I'm just going to do it and pretend like he's not.
I get what you're saying, but the problem is when Roman comes back, he's going to, unless the plan is to make Jacob the guy who has to go against Roman, because if Solo's the one going against Roman, that's not believable. Roman's going to rip him to shreds.
Right.
So like, that's my issue. My issue is if they're planning for Solo versus Roman, that's just not believable.
Hey, hold on, I have a question. Why? Because why is Roman versus Solo not believable? Because the fact of the matter is, if you look back on Roman's reign, yes, thank you. He wasn't portrayed as the unbeatable champion because he was Roman or because he was the best. It was always because of the bloodline. He had Jay, he had Jimmy, and he had Solo. Solo's the reason he didn't lose at WrestleMania last year. So the fact is that if Roman comes back and he's without Jay, because why would Jay join Roman yet? There's been nothing to happen. He's without Jimmy. Jimmy's still out. Paul Heyman is in a retirement home somewhere. He's just trying to get some R&R. He's relaxing. He's recovering. So Roman's going to be by himself, and Solo's not. Solo has what Roman used to have. Solo has what Roman doesn't have anymore, which is the bloodline. So I think Solo can beat Roman because he's got backup, which is the only reason Roman had the reign he had. You know what I mean? So I think that's the main story that they're going to try and tell, and that's why they're making this foursome so threatening. and so violent, and not necessarily the biggest threats to get every win. Though, as we said, they did get this big win that they needed at SummerSlam. But I think they're more threats of like they might put someone in the fucking hospital, because who knows what the Samoan werewolf is really capable of.
Right. So I think it's because he has bodyguards. Like, he doesn't have to do anything.
Exactly. And so that's why I think Solo A versus Roman will be fine. And eventually it will lead to the reunion of the bloodline and the reunion of Roman and the honorary Uso, Sami Zayn, Sami Uso. So that's going to be a fun one. They're going to pop huge for that when it does happen.
Man. LA Knight's pop at the ladder match when he came out, I was like, holy crap. I was like, if this man won the Money in the Bank, I was like, this whole place would have uproared. His pop was so loud. Holy crap.
Would have been great.
Holy crap.
Yeah, hopefully the pop is just as big at SummerSlam when he finally wins some gold and becomes United States champion.
I hope so. I hope so. I also, this is Chad Gable. I didn't know this is his first ladder match in WWE. That was his first ever. Isn't that insane? I didn't know that. I was like, holy crap.
I mean, they don't do tag team ladder matches as often as they used to. I know. So and even when they did, Chad Gable and Otis for a while weren't really utilized like that. And Chad Gable's gone through a lot of rough times where if they were having a big ladder match, he was lucky that he wasn't on the radar. So thankfully, you know, and back to that, a lot of like Chad Gable was another one, that big leap he took hanging from the briefcase and then face planting. Oh my God. Like what a performance.
Those hanging spots get me so nervous because I'm like, what happens if the briefcase falls? I'm like, then what do you do? It got me very nervous.
That's always what I'm rooting for. Like that entire time watching, I was like, fall.
Yeah, because then you have to give it a Chad.
Yeah.
Because then what is he gonna do?
They would fucking make him lose it to the Miz again and let the Miz become a third time Money in the Bank.
Yeah. That sunset flip powerbomb with Andrade and Carmelo. Holy crapola. Dude, the ladder matches were so good. I can't get over how good they were.
Io Sky with Zoe Stark, the Michinoku driver onto the ladder.
What was that? No. What? Oh, that one. Yeah. I thought she died. Wait, it wasn't Zoe, was it?
Yes. That's in fact, that's a big part of why Zoe Stark, Sonya Deville,
where it looked like she hit her head,
took out Damage Control, because Zoe's literally grabbing Io and saying, "You took everything from me." So Io Sky, Michinoku, Zoe Stark right on that ladder, like that when it was from the top.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when Lyra did the German suplex to Io
that was
off
sick.
the ladder. Yeah. Holy crap.
No, they all killed it. And of course, Chelsea Green, with
who's deathly afraid of heights, apparently.
She is?
Yeah. She was saying
Chelsea
how she's deathly she said she's deathly afraid of heights.
This isn't even the first time she's done this bump.
I know.
Yo, Chelsea Green is such an all-star.
Yeah, like, she was just like, I'm gonna do this. She's like, you'll remember me.
Whatever they have her do, she does better than anyone.
110%. 110%.
She's so good.
I also loved Corey's commentary on Money in the Bank. He goes, "Oh, so I'm technically a Money in the Bank winner through marriage." I thought that was really funny that he pointed that out.
Well, he's stealing the Matt Cardona playbook.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Oh, you sound like Matt Cardona," except like
he was one half of the longest running women's Money in the Bank.
Yep.
And in fact, he won it twice, because they made her win that briefcase twice.
Oh, remember? Yeah. Oh, because of what's his face, right? What's his name? Ellsworth. I couldn't think of the last name. Yeah. Yeah.
But the women's Money in the Bank was just really on fire. Naomi with the bit of an homage to RVD doing the splits on the ladders.
Yeah. It was really fantastic.
No, the women really showed up and showed out, and it's because of that in particular that I'm even more happy that we do have a true Miss Money in the Bank. They're not burning it. Tiffany didn't cash in that night. We get some time of Tiffy in the bank. I'm sure she's going to give it a Barbie style makeover, so that briefcase is going to get a makeover very quickly. Maybe some bedazzles.
Oh, I love Tiffy. It's Tiffy time, and I think she's going to be great with a briefcase. I think having it coming out, taunting whoever, whatever champ she's going for. I think that's going to be great.
Who's the wrestler who just lost her title to Monet?
Oh, Stephanie Vacker.
Stephanie Vacker. Yeah.
Oh, so Shawn Michaels just said, "Welcome to the WWE family, Steph
Yeah,
Vacker."
Yeah, I know.
We
I said
talked
that
about
earlier.
this, John.
Did I miss that?
No, you were here.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure you were here. Yeah, 100% said that.
I didn't realize that because when you asked me if I knew who she was, I was like, no. And then I just got a notification. I'm like, oh wait, did I miss that?
Yeah,
No.
you didn't. My entire angle was how I thought AEW was stupid for putting on this platform and then losing them to WWE because Shawn Michaels announced it. Yeah.
Oh, I just got the notification. I don't know what's going on.
I hope our listeners are paying attention to me more than you are, John. Shit.
John was just excited that we were talking about LA Knight. He got distracted. He was like, when are we going to talk about LA Knight?
That's all I care about. But I mean, he was a wasted spot in the ladder match if he wasn't.
I thought he did great. Yo, people love him.
It's not a wasted spot. LA Knight was he was there to do exactly what he did, which is get the crowd really excited at certain points. I was like, oh my God, is he really going to do it? Like they needed an LA Knight in that match.
100%. I know, but I just feel like if he wasn't going to win, he wasted a spot that could have gone to somebody else. That everybody, I don't know, everybody knows he's going to
Finn Balor, maybe, but like
he's getting the U.S. title at
LA Knight would have been better.
Like he's getting the U.S. title at SummerSlam, so he wasn't getting the briefcase. If by some miracle they were giving him the briefcase, that would have made sense.
That would have made me so
happy. I will say this. To your credit, Logan Paul getting involved probably would have helped a little bit. Give LA Knight an extra out and add a little bit more fuel to that fire.
Definitely.
Instead of LA Knight now to kind of go back to that feud, has to go back in time to like, hey, remember I pinned you to get into Money in the Bank? So bring me that title shot.
Right.
I am very
like it would have been better to see a jealous and bitter and enraged Logan Paul just completely interject himself into that match. That would have been heat magnet type of shit. But back to Tippy time just real quick. I said it last week. I do think they, like, as much as I wanted Chelsea to win the briefcase, because they hadn't really spent any time building her up as a true threat, and even in her qualifying match, they kind of had her win like a fluke. Like she got knocked out she took advantage. So with Tippy, for more consistently, she's been billed as like the next big thing, as a future champion. So I do think she's a real threat with the briefcase, and that's
100%. 100%.
Bailey's gotta sleep with one eye open now.
Yeah, I love this.
100%.
She's gonna be so good. Like I said, the taunting her coming out, like teasing the briefcase a bunch. I think she's gonna do phenomenal with this.
Toodles.
Yeah, Tiffy time. I just want her to do all Clueless theme.
It's gonna be interesting to see how her new friendship with Nia Jax, the Queen of the Ring and #1 contender, plays into. Nia Jax has a SummerSlam match. Could Tiffy possibly interject herself and walk out champion instead of Nia Jax?
And then tell Nia, toodles.
Toodles.
Toodles, Nia. Toodles. She'd be a good cosplay. I feel like if I go to WrestleMania next year, I have to cosplay as Tiffy, right?
That'd be a fun one, yeah.
Oh, she doesn't wear a robe, though.
Would you cosplay as Tiffy cosplaying as Cher Horowitz?
1,000%. I don't know if I could wear that, though. I'd probably have to wear thick tights underneath. I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Unless I tough one.
What? Yeah, because she doesn't have like a robe. Like, like Charlotte Flair has a robe that I can like cover myself. And is there a Tiffy time shirt? I'm sure there is, but that doesn't. Yeah.
I feel like I never see her wearing it though.
Yeah, because why would you with a body like that? I wouldn't wear it either. My body looked like that.
We're gonna see a lot of people wearing the new Rhea Ripley shirt, letting everybody know Mami's back because she made her return on Raw.
Yay!
Damian Priest kind of telegraphed it from the beginning by answering a phone and saying, "Hey, where you at?" with a big smile on his face. That was the first breadcrumb. Then even later, as he sees Dom continuing to do dumb shit and get himself in trouble, dig his hole even deeper, he even goes on to say, "You know what, Finn? I was gonna tell you, but I'm actually gonna keep it to myself because Dom's gonna find out on his own. And Rhea Ripley does in fact interrupt the celebration of Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan, the women's champion. Rhea Ripley chases off Liv and then like scolds Dom like she caught her son trying to sneak in past curfew. Dom is in trouble.
Oh, he's in trouble. Honestly, this whole thing was great. It was beautifully done. It was executed perfectly. I will say Carlito has been the highlight for me watching these. His reaction to things are so comical and so funny. Like I can't. He's been really funny with this. But
Yeah.
I think it was the perfect way to bring Rhea back. I loved it. Except I will say the Liv and Dom stuff does get a little uncomfortable. I don't know if that's intentional, but it does get a little uncomfortable for me.
See, one thing I really liked though, and I'm sure they'll play more on this on television, but it was a clip that I think Liv posted and WWE posted. It was basically of them like Liv is watching. You know, she already got backstage, she's watching behind the curtain to see Rhea and Dom, and Rhea's mad at Dom and all that. And then she kind of turns to the camera and gives a very sly smile. Liv
Right.
doesn't want Dom. Liv never wanted Dom. She just wanted to take him from Rhea. If Rhea leaves Dom because of this, then mission accomplished.
Right.
And I don't think Liv's done because Liv wants everything Rhea ever had. So not only is that dirty Dom, it might be the Judgment Day too. Liv wants to take everything from Rhea, not necessarily for herself. She just doesn't want Rhea to have it anymore. So I do like a little bit of this as long as they continue to kind of let us see that as well. Because I don't believe for one second that Liv actually wants Dom. It's all mind games with Rhea. And as long as that continues to come across, I think everyone's okay.
Right.
Well, except for Dom, because they're just making him out to be dumb.
Right.
But yeah, so happy that Rhea is back. I'm just a little worried about what's gonna. I feel like so much has changed. And like you want her back so that she can be with Judgment Day again, right? And we can go back to the way things were because her and Damian were about to run the fucking show. But it's like Damian hasn't turned face yet, but he's really doing everything in his power to not be a heel anymore. He's showing respect to every babyface challenger, telling
Right.
Seth, even though I beat you, once I beat Gunther, you can still have a shot, bro. I don't care. I don't run from anyone. Telling everyone not to interfere in his matches because I can handle my business. Rhea's a babyface now. To what you said, Danielle, Carlito, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough are kind of now like for this whole Dirty Dom saga, they've kind of been the friends reacting to everything and doing it very funny. With JD McDonough with his little like finger wag, like no, you in trouble. Finn Balor's always blowing me away with his facial expressions and his overreacting with his eyes. Carlito with his one-liners is just never-ending entertainment. So if they wanted to, they could make all of Judgment Day, except for Dom, of course, actual baby faces for maybe like a month or two before the other side of the coin flips and Damian and Rhea get blindsided. That's probably what's happening. And that's where it's like sad because Rhea's here now, which means they're just going to escalate the end of the Judgment Day, or at the very least, the next incarnation.
Right.
At least that's what it seems like for me. Who knows?
Right. I don't want the Judgment Day to break up, but it's okay.
Like, I don't know if they'll break up. I just think Damian Priest's time with the Judgment Day is coming to a close. And Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest have always been the two of everyone that are most closely linked. That, their friendship goes beyond the show, beyond Judgment Day.
Right.
So, and even now, Damian Priest is the one that knew Rhea was coming, right? Nobody else did. Not even Dom. And Damian Priest didn't tell anyone, not even Dom. So there it is. That's the loyalty. So I think Rhea and Damian's time with the Judgment Day is coming to a close.
Yeah, Damian. Go ahead, sorry.
No, just what that means for Dom, Carlito, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Dom has such loyalty, turning on his dad for Mami, and then almost falling with it with Liv. Yes, Dom has excellent loyalty.
I mean, what do we see happening with this? Like, do we think next week Dirty Dom will pay an homage to possibly his father Eddie and bring an apology rose? Like,
Yes.
to Rhea.
How funny would it be if he's like, I'm not dealing with either of you, and he goes back to his dad? That would be so funny. He'd just be like, no. He'd be like, Dad.
He just says, I'm done with this, guys. For the record, I'm actually married, and she's a
Yeah, I'm
respectable
married.
woman who has nothing to
Yeah.
do with wrestling. So
This poor woman has to watch these women drool over him every week. Over like someone who's not a Randy Orton or a Seth Rollins or a Roman Reigns.
I always think of Pat McAfee. She puts her hand in that dirty mullet.
I love that. Yeah.
I will say I'm not ready for Rhea and Dom to be over just yet.
Yeah,
So
me
I hope
neither.
they find a way to kind of, because here's the thing. Rhea came out, like chased Liv away, but then like the way she acted towards Dom, yes, she's mad at him, but it didn't look like she was done with
Right.
him.
She was kind of
She's
like, you're an idiot. Like, what are you
yeah,
doing,
she's like,
idiot?
what are you thinking about? You know what? You're in the doghouse. So
Right.
like
Doghouse, not done. Yeah.
seeing Dom be in the doghouse with Rhea could be very entertaining.
Right.
John, what do you think of Mami coming back?
I think it's going to be good. It's obviously. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see Dom turn on Rhea and end up allowing Liv to keep the title for a little longer, so Rhea's chasing it. I think in
If
reality,
that happens, I think Liv turns on Dom immediately.
Yeah.
Like
no, I don't
immediately.
think so. I think Liv takes over the Judgment Day and they all turn on Rhea.
I do see them all turning on Rhea, but I don't necessarily know if I see Liv actually taking over the Judgment Day. I was toying with that idea, but I don't think they actually go through with it.
They have to. She's been helping them. She's been helping them get their titles.
She
I
did
think
help Finn and JD McDonough, and there were other things other than like the Liv Dom thing. Like there was Liv and Finn apparently coming out of that car at one time. So there's definitely like they've definitely put themselves in a position to do that if they go with it.
Well, I thought when Damian Priest didn't kick out of that pin, I thought the way they were going to fix it was to say that Liv paid off the ref, because it looked like the ref just stopped counting. So I thought they were going to make it. They were going to try and play it off like Liv paid off the ref just to cover it up, which would have made sense,
that was a big production fuck up. They were a little late with the music for Drew.
No, I think that was a Damian Priest or ref fuck up. Production, even if production played the music, that shouldn't have stopped the pin count. The ref should have gone through with the pin. Like under Vince McMahon.
No, but the ref would stop counting if the music hit like that.
Why?
Like they've done stuff like that in the past. I agree, you're right. The logic's not there, but they would have. The referee, I don't know if he could have done anything different, because like unless the only thing he could have done differently was actually count the fucking 3, because Damian Priest didn't kick out. Damian Priest really should have kicked out.
Yeah. Under Vince McMahon,
yeah,
the rule was if they don't kick out, you finish the 3 count.
Yeah. So then we would have gotten Seth as champion, and then how they would have had Drew cash in on Seth and somehow end that with Damian. Imagine they just said that Damian's in it anyway because he's in the ring.
I mean, Damian probably would have won it back on Monday.
Yeah, maybe they would have done that. Win it back to get a short month reign until you face Gunther for the title. That'd be crazy. I wouldn't mind if they gave us some Damian Priest title defenses on Raw. I feel like especially if his title reign does end at SummerSlam, he could benefit from getting 2 or 3 more title defenses against incredible challengers. And they're portraying him as the whole I back down to no one, I'm the champ, I'll take on anyone. So, give him a few. Give him a few. Let Ilya Dragunov take him to the limit. Why not?
Man, I love Ilya Dragunov.
He's so good.
It is what it is.
What do you think about our new tag team champions, John DIY? Just like it always is, Johnny wins. Johnny and Tommaso Ciampa, our new tag champs. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller no longer tag champs, and I don't know how much longer they will be a tag team. Austin Theory might be coming over to Face Nation.
Face Nation? What's that?
He's gonna be a babyface
Oh, wait a minute. So DIY are champion, so that means he's Tommaso Ciampa
again.
again.
If the NXT championship was Goldie, I wonder what his tag team championship name is.
What color are they?
Like blue?
Oh, obviously it'll be Kurt.
Wait, are they blue?
No, they're not blue.
No, they're
gold.
black and gold.
Oh, so they're like Kurt Russell. So Kurt. I'm naming his tag title Kurt.
Okay,
Official.
fair enough. I hope he's okay with that. We'll have to tweet him and let him know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, so if this one's Goldie, is this one Kurt? That's all.
I'm happy to see DIY finally get some main roster gold. It did feel like it wasn't going to happen. I kind of started feeling like Tommaso Ciampa was getting geared up for a heel turn, and they were just going to go their separate ways and go singles. So glad they're getting a tag reign before that. I do still have that fear that like when they get ready to drop the titles, we'll get Tommaso Ciampa turning on Johnny, or maybe they'll have Johnny turn this time. But I do fear that DIY are destined to be rivals just as much as they are destined to be partners.
Oh, they're basically the modern day Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
And Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what they're setting up with Austin Theory, because Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano have that history in NXT. So I think
Right.
And Evolve.
Yeah, I think Champ is going to eventually just start getting bitter about that, and it's going to end up with a great feud on the main roster. But they haven't had a title yet. They've been there forever. Let them enjoy this for a little bit. Let them get through.
Yeah.
Let them go through the summer, the fall. Like, let them have it for a little bit. Let that be a Mania. That's
I will say this.
fun match.
I will say this: if Motor City Machine Guns do sign, I could see them coming to SmackDown and challenging DIY. I could see them wanting to go to that. Well,
They'll come out with their canes and their walkers.
I mean, that's Ciampa and Gargano's a Mania match. Let them get that. Let them play through Mania.
I'm with that.
I'm with that too.
I'm
I love
also
DIY.
with everything that we've been seeing from the Wyatt Six. These video packages have just been so good. Bo Dallas, crazy to think that it's really just him in these segments. Like we haven't, like, he's obviously talking with Uncle Howdy, but it's just we're just watching one man give us these range of emotions and answers, and just, oh man. And then my reaction, my jaw literally dropped when Adam Pearce opens his office and there's Bo Dallas just sitting in there ready for a normal meeting. I don't know where we're going with this. He did seem to finally, at the very least, verbalize the name of the stable, where he said, "Do you think we're sick?" Yes, yes, I do. Okay, well then, sick is what we will be. And once again, we've been calling the Wyatt Six, so I think we'll see that to continue. We got, for the first time, a little more glimmers of, I think this was the first time we actually saw the face of Joe Gacy under the mask, the face of Dexter Loomis under the buzzer, the face of everybody. So once again, it gets more and more fun. I wonder, since Bo Dallas and Adam Pearce have now had an official discussion, if this means the VHS tapes are over, and maybe we'll finally get these guys, appearing again.
I hope so. I mean, it took them that long to find a VHS player, I bet, because that's intense.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that we find out Monday that Adam Pearce is missing.
Oh yeah. And he's in the VHS.
That's possible, but I want to see Raw go to chaos a little bit. Yeah, I feel like that's what he's been saying, that he's the Reckoning or something. Like, let Adam Pearce go missing. Drew McIntyre is supposed to be there to talk with him next week. If Adam Pearce isn't there, then Drew McIntyre is free to go wild. Like, let some chaos break out and further feed whatever's going on with the Wyatt Six. Again, it's a wrestling company. I know what Triple H said. It's a TV show about a wrestling company. A TV show about a wrestling show. These guys got to wrestle. So I like what's going on. The Bo Dallas thing is great. These guys got to wrestle. We know they can wrestle. We've seen them wrestle. Eventually, they have to take the masks off and get in the ring. And we know them as the people they were before. So it's either going to translate or it won't. We're going to see if. I mean, Dexter Lumis, we know him for the mustache and the slick hair. We're going to
But
see.
like that's where these videotapes, the stories he's been telling, I think, come into play. Where he's like, I unlocked the characters, that his brother created. I found these people that you guys didn't want, that were discarded, that were fired, that were forgotten, that were put on the bench, yada yada yada, and I awoken these characters in them. So I don't think it'll be as simple as just Dexter takes off the buzzard mask and there he is with Dexter Lumis. I do think that we'll kind of get a little bit of Kane action happening where they just give him a fucking wig for no goddamn reason. Like, I don't think Dexter's going to take off those dreads. So, unfortunately, I do think he's going to be wearing like a fucking dreadlock
Oh,
wig.
no way. There's no chance. He's going to be Dexter Lumis with a beard. I just want to know if he's going to keep the name Dexter Lumis or they're going to give him a completely new name.
They might just call him Mercy the Buzzard.
That would be retarded. And like, we know what's his name at Rowan. We know Rowan is Rowan. He's not going to look any more different. So he's going to take off that mask. But
That's retarded.
yeah, I mean, what we're gonna call him Mercy the Buzzard? Like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like,
I mean, listen, all I'm saying is, and I've been saying it every week, and I love it. Most of these clips give us more questions than answers, and I love having more questions about this. Like, I love not knowing where it's going. I love waiting and seeing, but everything that we've gotten so far does make me think that they're going to try to go the extra mile to let us know what has happened to Nikki Cross, what has happened to Dexter Lumis, what has happened to Joe Gacy and Eric Rowan, and what has changed in them. I mean, if you're telling me that the Nikki Cross that has been coming out and giving them videotapes, this creepy woman, if you're telling me that she's the same Nikki Cross we've seen, like, I'm not buying it, man. Everything she's doing.
You're right about that. I just don't want them to try and feed us a new character. Like, I'm fine with what you're saying. He unlocked these new people, but I want it to be Dexter Lumis, this new Dexter Lumis. I want it to be the new Rowan. I don't want them to give us these new characters that we have to now accept them as different people than they were. I want it to be Nikki Cross.
Well, I think it might be
version of Nikki Cross that was left behind rather than Mercy the Buzzard. Like, I don't want.
Let's look at it this way. Bo Dallas right now, so far, we've seen he is Uncle Howdy, and so that's his other character. And for now, the first time with these tapes, but also on Raw in Adam Pearce's office, we've now seen Bo Dallas. Now, to me, the way I see it is I think at least at first, maybe Bo Dallas is the only one of them who can access both of his personalities. He can be Uncle Howdy when he wants, he can be Bo Dallas, or maybe he doesn't even have control, but we will get both. I don't necessarily know if these characters are going to start off having the same capabilities. So maybe for at least the beginning of this, we do just get these new characters, and then over time, they access the same powers that he has and are able to access their ulterior personalities and everything like that. I think it's very unique and interesting and captivating. And I just, like, every week I find myself really looking forward to these segments, and like, I'm just really into it so far. And I just love to see what they're going to do and when we will hear the name Wyatt again, because they haven't uttered the words really. Like, even when he was saying, like, my brother when my brother died, he never said the name Bray Wyatt. And like, Paul Heyman mentioned the Wyatts, and I think some other person said Wyatt's family, but we've not heard that word in any of these segments yet. So I'm kind of anticipating that as well. Also, anticipation for the reunited Rascalz in NXT. We've been hoping for it. We've been praying for it. We've been seeing signs and thinking, oh, Wes is feuding with a trio. He's got to get back up, right? It's got to happen. It's got to happen. And finally, it happened. The Rascalz are in NXT. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what it means because it didn't say, like, I know TNA obviously has a working relationship with them now, but they made it sound like they were here to stay. They're like,
Really? I didn't get that.
They were like, I think it's about time the Rascalz run roughshod on NXT. What do you say? Like, it didn't seem like they were just here to say hi and leave.
I liked when they said the two of us, what were they, MSK, but the three of us,
Yeah.
the Rascalz. I was like, yes,
That's right.
the Rascalz are here.
Exactly. Like, he makes a point to say, well, if you get me and Zach, you got MSK. You get all three, you got the Rascalz. So they're making a point to distinguish. It makes me ask questions about Trey Miguel's contract, makes me ask questions about Zachary Wentz's contract, and makes me wonder if maybe at this point NXT is willing to just start trading people to TNA. Because, like I said, it didn't seem to me like this was a special appearance. And it seems to me that next week we'll probably be getting a 6-man tag, if not the Rascalz versus Gallus, definitely the Rascalz versus 3 wrestlers. Like, I think we'll get that next week.
Here's my prediction, which I don't think has been announced yet. I think TKO owns TNA. I think TKO is funding TNA behind the scenes. I think they already own their archive or has been funding their archive. So I think TNA is owned by TKO, and that's why this is happening, and that's why it's going to continue happening. And TKO sees an obvious benefit of WWE lifting up TNA and letting them do their own thing at the same time, and now having 2 wrestling companies that are growing. Otherwise, there's no point in doing this.
It's funny because TNA did team with Endeavor for like the streaming service, like at the end of last year.
That's what it is. I'm almost positive that there's kind of partial ownership, because it's too convenient that this is happening.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like I said, they weren't canoodling. They're like consummating.
Right. Yeah. That's wild. That's a good little theory. I like that prediction. Or not even prediction, accusation of sorts.
They're probably just doing it they're doing it this way to drive Tony Khan crazy. They could just announce it, but by announcing it, it's going to ruin the fun.
Right. This is way more fun. Exactly.
Everybody's noodling with everybody.
Yeah, not just the Rascalz coming over, because somebody said his name and Joe Hendry had to appear. They ended the NXT pay-per-view, which we'll talk about in just a minute, with Joe Hendry's face just randomly popping up. Earlier in the night of last night's NXT, Trick Williams says, it's probably not a good idea to take them both on by myself. Maybe I should look for a partner. He leaves, and what happens to the monitor he was just standing in front of? Boom! Joe Hendry's face pops up again. So in the main event, it was no surprise that Joe Hendry appeared, and it was a little more surprising that Joe Hendry got the win. Joe Hendry's got pinfalls in NXT now.
I will say with Joe Hendry, I mean, we've talked about this numerous times. You know how I feel about entrance music, and that's what I always feel like AEW lacks unless they buy an actual song. Like, this man is over simply because of his song. Like, simply. Like, I'm not saying he can't wrestle. He can go. But, like, this man is clearly over. Like, I knew his song before I knew who he was. And it's one of those things where it's gotten over so much that it's literally everywhere. And
I really do give a lot of credit to his feud with AJ Francis, only because this isn't a thing. Joe Hendry didn't make this song now. This song's been his song
I know.
2019. It was his feud with Top Dollar AJ Francis, where AJ Francis and him were going back and forth with songs and everything. That feud really did do a lot for Joe Hendry. And I think Joe Hendry's still reaping the benefits. Speaking of AJ Francis, the streets are saying that he was backstage at NXT. I don't know if maybe he was there to support Joe Hendry, or if maybe people in NXT are considering bringing back the former Top Dollar to a little canoodling action.
I don't know. Top Dollar seems angry and like bitter.
I could see AJ Francis and Obafemi having like a big man matchup.
Dude, I can't believe we passed over Wesley and Obafemi's friggin' match.
Oh, we didn't pass over. We haven't even gotten the Heatwave yet.
I know we were. Well, I figured we were talking about.
Yeah,
I got excited.
No, take us there. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Obafemi and Wesley.
Obafemi is a monster. Like that man. Like he continues like to redefine a powerhouse. Like he's such a powerhouse, and like everybody's so behind him, and he's so great. And like Wesley's great too. And I thought they complemented each other so well in the ring. He's so fantastic.
Obafemi's entrance alone, like he's got an aura about him. The way he hops and bounces around, like,
dude, I told you,
gets you excited to see him. Yeah,
I told you there was a moment like when I was at that NXT show that I paused staring at everyone because I'm like, this is a cult. These people are about to follow this man into battle because they were so into. I wish I wish I recorded one of the guys where he would look so angry and he was like, like everybody, he would look like it was insane. Like Obafemi just has it, man. He's so good.
Yeah, no, he's really good. And we've obviously seen so many powerhouses in the history of wrestling, but the way he utilizes his strength, it's still innovative. Like he finds new ways.
Yes.
Like even just him being on the top rope and throwing Wesley from there, like that's things you don't see every day. Like his shows of strength are just never not impressive. And yeah, these two, their chemistry is through the roof. This will probably be the last time we see these two fight each other for a very long time, since Wesley cannot challenge for the North American Championship as long as Obafemi is champ, which I think is good for him. I think he should leave that. And now that he can't challenge for the North American Championship, maybe he sets his sights one day for the NXT Championship. Could happen.
I totally be okay with it. I thought this pay-per-view was, I think it was better than Money in the Bank. I thought this pay-per-view was, it felt like my old NXT that I used to watch where we were like, I remember being like, what was your favorite NXT of the weekend? NXT TakeOver, like NXT pay-per-view of the weekend.
That was
like what was your
regular
favorite pay-per-view? And it's like, I don't even want to put NXT in this category because it's always NXT. And this is what this PLE felt like. This is what Heatwave felt like to me. It felt old school, but fresh. Like it's almost like they were passing the torch. Like this PLE like really passed the torch and solidified that they are really moving forward with bringing back the old feel of NXT with something fresh.
Yeah, this show was 100% compiled of the new generation of NXT, the new brood, so to speak. And man, did they deliver. Like every match really knocked it out of the park. Gotta highlight the NXT Women's North American Championship as well. Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruka really showed up and showed out. What amazing chemistry. I'm sorry, but when you guys have your first match and people are immediately comparing you to Will Ospreay and Ricochet, including Will Ospreay and Ricochet, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. And they even, they were saying it. They were like, oh, this looks like us. Like they were even making mention that this was, their match was like them.
Before somebody put the clips on top of each other, Ricochet
they knew.
Was like, this reminds me of us. Like this is a female of me and Will.
Yeah.
John, what did you think about the Women's North American Champion?
That was probably one of the more impressive matches of the night. I thought the Obafemi match was exactly what I thought it would be. I thought the Fatal 4-Way was exactly what I thought it would be, minus the outcome. I mean, every other match was pretty much what I thought it would be.
Well, you're a genius, so obviously. They're not pulling anything over on you.
I mean, I think everything, as much fun, like the things that are surprising are not the wrestling aspects of it. I think like the returns, some of the outcomes, some of the storyline twists and turns, but the actual match is very few like real surprises for me.
Right. Well, here's a surprise for me, and it's really just a testament to the Performance Center, to the NXT coaching staff, to everything Shawn Michaels is doing there, from the recruiting to the training. Kalani Jordan and Sol, they both came into WWE with no wrestling experience, and like they fucking delivered. Like on a big stage, championship match, singles match, like, and these are homegrown NXT talent. So to Danielle's point, what she was saying about this reminding us of the old black and gold, it really does, because back then you would, like, obviously they filled themselves up with Finn Balor's and Kevin Owens and Johnny Gargano's and the vets of the business, but you also had people like Enzo and Big Cass who came in to the Performance Center ready to be trained. You also had Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, who showed up in the Performance Center, obviously with amateur wrestling experience, but ready to train and be molded. The Street Profits, same thing.
I mean, you can even say Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. Like, I mean, especially Charlotte Flair.
Hot garbage. She was hot garbage when she first started.
Yeah.
She was so bad, and she got so good so fast. So the NXT coaching staff and NXT has always had a phenomenal coaching staff. People have changed. Obviously, Scott Taylor used to be there. Now he's not. But A-Train, Matt Bloom is just an amazing head coach. Shawn Michaels is an amazing chef. And they are really chefing it up. Because once, like, oh, man. It was just I was really impressed with the women on this card in particular.
Oh, yes. Roxanne Perez still doesn't do it for me, Roxanne Perez, but we're getting there.
One thing I was just really happy about in Lola Vice getting catapulted to this level is the fact that I know you guys in particular were like a little salty that she beat Shayna, but it's like, this is why she needed to beat Shayna, because they needed her to be believable as a contender, because they're not beating Roxanne Perez vets anymore. You know, they're not bringing that Natalya to NXT and having her put her over. So now you've got this new locker room. How are we going to make believable contenders? That's what we got to do.
Right. Yeah. This pay-per-view top to bottom was really impressive for me. I really,
I also liked the hometown reception we got for Carmen Petrovich and Ariana Grace. I always have to remind myself Ariana Grace is Santino's daughter.
Yeah, me too.
So
me too. All the time.
Yeah.
I always forget. I'll be like looking on Twitter sometimes if I'm not watching something and I'm like getting updates and people will mention it and I'm like, oh yeah. I forget all the time.
And then after I remind myself she's Santino's kid, I remind myself, oh yeah, Santino's a fucking Canadian.
Yeah. That's another thing. It's like, oh, he's Canadian accent,
too. Yeah. His Italian, like, I know he's not obviously Italian like that, but sometimes the accent's so funny and just so associated with him that you think, oh, well, he's got to be at least a little Italian. Nope, not even a little bit.
Not even a tad. Amazing.
But Danielle, we put it off long enough. You can go ahead and talk about the highlight of your night.
Let me tell you, I literally texted you and said, they're in Canada. Imagine they do it and they make Ethan Page champion, and they fucking did it. You weren't really receptive. I know you were out and about, and I was literally like, they did it. They fucking did it. I was jumping so hard on my bed I almost fell off. I lost it. There was a moment where I was like, nah, they're still gonna have Trick, but I was like, how many times are they gonna have Ethan Page face this man before they call it quits? And they did it, and I lost it. I said to you, I've been saying it, like, all these shows, all these companies have dropped the ball with him so many times, and like NXT did it. NXT was just like, nope, you're coming in, and we're immediately making you like he came in, interrupted Trick, and then that Sunday he was in main event. That was it.
And what I love is that, and I kind of assumed that Ethan Page left AEW because he wanted to pursue WWE. Apparently he just left AEW because he wasn't happy there. That, you know, he saw things he didn't want to see. He didn't want to be there. And then, like, I guess a week or a week and a half after WWE then reached out. It was like, we want him. And they really wanted him because, it catapulted him immediate star status. I also do love that they didn't just rush into Ethan Page winning this so dominantly, or even just having him. He could have just picked Trick out of the ring and powerbombed Javon. But no, Trick takes out everyone, including Ethan Page, and Ethan Page falls into the pinfall. So it was kind of fluky, which is great for a heel, especially Ethan Page, all ego heel. Because it's bad enough when your heel's got a big ego. But when you watch him get so fucking lucky and then never acknowledge that luck. I mean, that's just heel like magic.
100%, and it still keeps Trick strong. It doesn't make Trick look bad that he lost to this guy who just came in or anything like that. Like Trick can still hold it if he wants to come back for the title.
He got screwed over. Sean Spears was pulling him out of the ring for no goddamn reason.
That match and Javon Evans, Javon.
Yeah,
I always pronounce it wrong. Yeah, oh my god, the vast improvement on this guy. This guy, I mean, he was amazing during this match.
Yeah. He's so good. Really good. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with I think Brooks Jensen attacking him backstage is probably a way to gracefully take Evans away from the main event and title picture. He doesn't need to stick around. It's good that he got in there. It's good they let him interrupt the opening segment and stay claim and say, listen, I hung with all of you guys, so don't think you're done with me yet. But then he can go ahead and still play around in the mid card. He's super over and super impressive, 100%. I also, a lot of people are like, oh wow, the Trick era is over already. It is the money's in the chase. It's always
in the chase.
So
watching a babyface chase. Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna help Trick more than a dominant reign would have.
100%. And Ethan Page as a heel with the title, being cocky about it, even though he won it in a fuddy-duddy way. Like, this is perfect. I was so happy for him to win the title. I'm like, yep. I was like, this is the guy. One of my favorite things about Ethan Page is he reminds me of Kevin Owens. He always has. Like, there's a lot of comparison to them. Yeah. Like, Canadian, super nice, great heels, great on the mic.
I remember when you brought me to see Ethan Page for the first time, you said you're gonna like him. He reminds me of Kevin Owens.
Yeah. And I remember giving you a list of all the things that make them match. I'm like, they're both Canadian. They're both great on the mic. His ring name for a while was Beast. And I was like, Kevin Owens has Beast tattooed on his hand. I was like going into this whole thing because Ethan Page has been my number one for such a long time that I was so excited and so happy.
Ethan Page has long been one of the most underutilized talents in
100%.
professional wrestling.
100%.
Like, for a very long time, going all the way back to like his Evolve days. Like it felt like there were times where you and I were the only people that saw like main event capabilities in him. We're like, what the fuck is going on? Why does no one else see this? Are we crazy? Do we not know good wrestling? Are we wrong? What's going on?
There was a lot going on because I remember
so refreshing.
Right, because he was having that big feud with Darby Allin for a while, and that was a fantastic one. And then he would bring up this stuff to Gabe and Evolve. I remember watching a documentary on it, and Gabe was like, you're not ready to be champ. You're not ready to be champ. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's time for him to be champ. And then he didn't do that. Then he went to AEW, and they put him in a tag team. Then he was in ROH, and there was potential there for ROH. I'm skipping TNA by accident. And then in Impact, he was tag champ. I did love when he was walking in. I don't know if you caught it in the beginning of the pay-per-view. He was walking in and he looks over and it said the North and he just like smirked and kept walking. And I was like, this is so well done. And I don't even think it was on purpose because the North was a great tag run too. They did him dirty too.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. I'm sorry I'm getting overexcited, but you know how much I love Ethan Page.
Yeah, no, it's so refreshing to see him in the main event. It's so refreshing to see him as a world champion. It happens so fast. Like, he's literally been on like fucking 4 shows, if that many. I do think there's a very good chance that WWE gets trigger happy with him and just decides, you know what? All right, let's let him hold the belt for like 3 months, then we're moving to the main roster.
Oh no!
Like, I could see it happening. I'm not saying they're definitely going to do it because the truth is they kind of need him in NXT with it being such a new, breed and just a new group. So they need a vet like Ethan Page, to kind of be a locker room leader now and be a champion. But at the same time, I do think they know exactly what they have with him. I think they know that the industry as a whole waited too long for him. Like, he's way older than he should be when it comes to his first world championship on TV. You know what I mean?
Yes. 100%. I don't even think he's 30. Did he just turn 30? Even though I call everyone old now.
He's got to be older than 30.
He's like 33 probably. He's young. He's younger than us. He's 30. Sorry, he's 34. He's 34.
Okay. 34 is fine.
All right.
Good for him.
34 is fine and just
how old is John Cena?
John Cena is 87.
Imagine.
He's like 42 or 44.
John Cena is 47 years old, just turned in April.
Oh my God.
Wow.
The old man.
So he will be 48 by the time he retires, since John Cena just announced that 2025 is the John Cena retirement tour.
John Cena will be 47 when he retires because his last will be WrestleMania, no?
No.
Oh, I thought he said
No, he said
WrestleMania
it's
was his
not going to
last.
be WrestleMania.
It's his last.
Oh, it's
No,
his
he
whole
said it will be his
year.
last WrestleMania.
Ah.
He said it's going to be his last WrestleMania, but he's got the whole year.
Oh,
So I
okay,
don't
my
know
bad.
if he's
You're
going to
right.
go all the way to. I don't know if he'll go to like December 30, whatever, like the very last show, and that will be his last match, or if he'll pick like maybe the last big show, which would probably be like Survivor Series, or I don't know. But he did clarify that WrestleMania is not going to be his retirement match.
They're gonna give it to Baron Corbin.
Imagine.
Imagine they're just like Baron Corbin is just known for retiring people now.
That don't want to. Kurt Angle wanted John Cena. John Cena wants Kurt Angle. Let's just both give him Corbin. Fuck it.
If I were Triple H, just for a good laugh, I would let it be the Learning Tree Chris Jericho for his last match.
Ooh.
Bring Chris Jericho in to be John Cena's last match? Oh, God.
That would be so funny. Because they had a legendary feud. That would be so funny.
Right.
If, it would only push Jericho's character if, like.
But it'd still be funny.
He was the young buck that got put over in Cena's last match.
Right.
Honestly, Edge is the one that keeps going in my head. I know that might not be possible, but Edge is the one that keeps going in my head.
I mean, for it to be Orton.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, is the question, like, are we looking for his greatest rival to have one last match? Or does Cena go out with somebody he's never faced before? Does Cena put over Braun Breaker in his last match?
Shucks. It can't be Austin Theory. They pulled the trigger too soon for that. It could have been Austin Theory.
I have a feeling by then. I'll go.
I'm sorry. No.
It's either going to be R-Truth or Trick Williams.
Trick Williams would be a good one.
Like
Trick Williams
is going to be on the main roster by then, so it's either going to be him or just to get the audience what they want. That's going to be his last match. R-Truth getting to face his childhood hero.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very surprised that you didn't say LA Knight.
LA Knight at that point, LA Knight's gonna hopefully have a world title and not be competing with John Cena.
I will say, I hope that when LA Knight wins the United States Championship, he starts the Open Challenge and John Cena is one of his challengers. I think that would be really fun.
No.
Why
That'd be
not?
fun.
That'd be
Get
fun.
the fuck out of here. No, Cena has to. There are two titles. Cena needs to pick a path and go down. Either
but he could just do an open challenge. It's just an open challenge match. It's not going to lead to a feud. It's just a thing.
Cena, when Cena comes back, he can't continue losing because he's only back for 30 to 40 dates.
Mammy.
And he's either going for.
So he's going to spend that 30 to 30 dates just coming in and burying the roster.
He's just going to be burying people?
No, he's not. He's not, but he has to. He's been losing every match he's come back for, so he has to start winning some matches.
Yeah, he's got ring rust.
So he's probably not gonna win the Rumble.
He's take that rust and put
possibly gonna either win Elimination Chamber or Money in the Bank. And
here's the question: does he win does he win a world championship again before he?
Well, that's the question.
To break the record.
The question is, does he break the record or does he go for the Intercontinental title and become a Grand Slam? Because right now, The Miz is a double Grand Slam and Cena's not even a single Grand Slam champion.
Cena's not a Grand Slam champ? That's right. He's not IC. We did the tournament. I forgot. We did the tournament and never talked about Cena.
Yeah.
Or are they going to give him both next year? He's going to break the record and be IC champion. That's why I'm like, he doesn't even have
Miz has the record. Miz has the record for most losses in WWE history.
And doesn't he have the record for like most matches? He's like the top 4 from what you told me, right? Was it him? Yeah.
Because
it's like him, Kofi, and
Orton.
He stays healthy all the time, so he was always losing. So like, it's it's crazy that he has the most losses, but it makes sense because he was barely ever out for injuries.
I don't think he was ever
Right.
out for injuries, was he?
I think he was for a little bit and for filming movies, but those
Oh
movies
yeah.
were shot in like 3 days because they were all
Yeah.
garbage.
I do remember
And
the
his
thing of
injuries,
not
he
being
always came back from really quick.
right. I remember the injury thing, him saying when he talked to Brian Danielson on Talking Smacked. He definitely mentioned that he's never been hurt. Like he's never out because of injury. Oh man,
Yeah.
I don't know
And
what
what an
John Cena's gonna
amazing
do.
career. What an amazing career John Cena had. I remember watching John Cena get the rapping gimmick over and really committing to it and really like blowing us away with a lot of his freestyles and a lot of his wordplay. And then he'd go on interviews and you could tell he was actually rapping and actually freestyling and actually had talent and it was really cool to watch him organically get over as a babyface, even as a heel, and the crowd turned him babyface in a very short time. And then watching WWE somehow fumble that and make him the most hated motherfucker in
Right.
all of wrestling was just what a time, what a strange time period that was to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, what a way like so hated the John Cena sucks and then turning into like love and admiration. Like it's been a roller coaster.
I mean, it's like they did it right with Roman Reigns and really, finally turned him heel, used him right, and allowed the fans to respect him and appreciate him while he was there. With Cena, they never did that. So people kind of had to start respecting him towards the end of it. Or remember, there'd be promo segments that Cena would literally talk the fans into liking him, like you'd feel it. They hated him because he was Cena, but oh shit, he's good. He'd have a match, and by the end of it, they're like, this is awesome. Like, Cena always had to fucking remind people what he brought to the table. And here's another question, and I'm sure people are going to shoot it down. But listen, the main reason they never went with the Cena heel turn, as we've been told, is because they didn't want to sacrifice the merchandise that he was moving. They didn't want to sacrifice the make a wish request that he was getting. They didn't want to make the kids, upset or whatever. But Cena's not really there anymore. So does Cena finally turn heel? Does he get like 3 to 5 months of bad guy Cena?
No, he said that he's not doing it, which is it. His answer at the press conference was so stupid, but he made it very clear that wasn't happening,
Damn.
which is so annoying.
Maybe that's
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 just not
maybe that's how
authentic.
they get us. I'm too nice of a person. People won't believe I'm actually an asshole.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it was
guys.
so
I'm just too
stupid.
good. I'm just too
No.
good.
It was so dumb, but I don't know. I feel like this Cena run is going to be pretty good. I'm curious if people are going to be like, hey, it's his last run. Let's get behind him regardless of what happens, or if people are going to feel like it's being shoved down their throats and turn on him. Like if he starts winning things and if he starts taking belts from people that the audience is behind, I wonder if they're going to turn on him. Like let's say LA Knight is a champion and that's who Cena takes the
Right.
title from, or
Right.
like I mean I don't think they'll care if it's Cody, but let's say Cena takes it from Gunther. He might be the one to dethrone Gunther. Let's say Gunther wins the title at SummerSlam, and he has it until next SummerSlam, and Cena's the one that beats him for it. Is that something that's gonna piss people off? So I think it's gonna be interesting what happens. I would love to see Cena win Money in the Bank. Has he even won?
I
He's
think
won it before,
I
right?
think Cena I think Cena could easily he has won money in the bank, but he cashed
Yeah.
in and lost. But I could see
That's what I think is
Cena
gonna
putting
happen.
over I could see Cena putting over Cody. Like I could see Cena
Yeah.
challenging Cody. They haven't Cena's never encountered this Cody. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
Cody that worked with Cena was a different Cody. So I think that could be a very interesting dream
Well,
match, and I think Cena would put Cody over.
what
I
I'd love is for Cena to be facing heel Cody and like kind of turn him, because heel
Yeah,
Cody
that
could
could be
kind
fun.
of
yeah.
hate babyface Cena and kind of just completely be against everything that he is, because that's what Cody was when he came back.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they go the route where Roman Reigns comes back and then they do Roman and The Rock against Cody and Cena.
No way. I would hate every second of that.
I didn't say I'd like it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I can't imagine Roman's going to be a heel in the next 2 years. I think Roman's going to have a baby.
I'm just saying, like, a match.
Yeah,
It might just
big
be a
time baby
match. I don't
face
even know if it's going to be like a story, but I could see it being a match.
Maybe.
'Cause
I would love for Cena to do like a run through of history. I would love for Cena to have another match with The Rock. It would probably be a terrible match, but I would love for him to go through the history. I would love for him to face The Rock. I would love for him to face CM Punk.
CM Punk,
Yeah, Punk would be
Randy
great.
Orton.
Orton.
Yeah.
I would love for him to face. It would be great for Triple H to get one last go. See him against Rey Mysterio.
How about this? How about this? Cena gets it gets to the end of 2025. Cena's finally retiring. Out of nowhere, Mark Henry shows up and beats the piss out of him. And says,
Yeah.
You think I'm done? I still got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah. I wish Cena came out in some pastels and said he was going to retire, and then he actually didn't. He ruined everything for everyone. But well, I mean, I guess
gonna do some like. You think they're gonna do some like sappy shit where like they have like Undertaker record a video of how great Cena is and what was going through his mind?
Yeah, of course.
And you don't think they're going to have cameras following him the way that they did this WrestleMania documentary? They're going to have cameras following him every
They're
second.
going to milk it all of 2025. Yeah.
100%. 100%. We're just going to have to wait and see. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you don't already, follow us on all social media at The Heel Marks. Listen to us anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And remember, we're not just smart marks. We're heel marks.
They're not just smart, they're heel marks. They're not just smart, they're heel marks.